What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Commander Deck Tech. This time around, we are doing Miss Bumbleflower. Everybody's favorite kind of deck, group hug stacks. Kidding. Kidding. Somebody just got triggered about that. I don't know why people don't like group hug stacks. I like group hug stacks. I like long Commander games sometimes. Maybe it's just me. Uh, it's Miss Bumbleflower is a 4 mana rabbit citizen with vigilance. Whenever you cast a spell, target opponent draws a card. You get to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature. It doesn't have to be your creature; it could be any creature, and that creature gains flying until the end of the turn. If this is the second time that this ability is resolved, you get to draw 2 cards. Generally, you're going to want to do this twice a turn, so you get to draw 2 cards, and an opponent gets to draw 2. But let's be real here. There's going to be turns where you're not playing 2. You're going to play 3, 4, 8. It happens. Group hug stacks. Alright, let's jump into the deck list, guys. Like always, this is a deck I have built in paper. I've physically played the deck at my LGS. I played it on Spell Table. I played it in my play group here at my house. The deck functions. It does group hug stacks things. It's also banned. It's probably my 3 favorite colors in Magic. So let's jump into this. Like always, link to the deck list down below. Up here on Architect, it'll bring you to a page just like this, where they do give you all the different price sources if you want to try this deck out for yourself. Not a sponsor, just pretty cool site. I'm not going to go over the lands. You guys check out the list to see all the lands. They're also all right here if you want to read them. But starting this off with the artifacts, we got Ankh of Mishra. Whenever a player plays a land, they take 2 damage. It's great. We're giving you extra draws. We're going to give you the opportunity possibly to make extra land drops. You going to pay some life for them. Arcane Signet, Commander Spear, Damping Spear. If a land would tap for 2 or more mana, it now taps for a single colorless mana instead. And each player... Each spell a player casts costs 1 more for each spell they cast that turn. Way to slow our opponents down. Doesn't really slow us down so much because generally our stuff is pretty cheap. So if I gotta pay 1 more mana for a 3-drop spell or 4-drop spell, we're fine. Howling Mine, give them extra draws. Soul Ring, because that's in every deck. Swiftfoot Boots, and Weathered Runestone. Weathered Runestone because my playgroup has a lot, and I mean a lot, of graveyard decks. I feel like we're building graveyard decks all the time. So, Weathered Runestone to turn off some graveyards. Jumping into creatures, we got Agent of Treachery. We're playing group hug stacks. I'm not running big green stompy, okay? So, we gonna take some of your stuff. Azusa Lost but Seeking because we need to get our land drops in. Edric Spymaster or Trest incentivizes our opponents to attack other players. Fairy Vandal, because we're going to be drawing a lot of cards. Grand Abolisher, because we don't want them doing anything on our turn. Comedy the Crescent Moon, we're going to be drawing a lot of cards. Core Cartographer, obviously it is find some lands. I don't know why this is the wrong one. There we go. Okay. Cutzel, Malamet Exemplar, same deal. We don't want anyone doing anything on our turn. And this also lets us draw a card when our creatures deal damage to a player and their power is greater than their base power. Our commander puts +1/+1 counters on stuff, so there's a good chance that a creature we swing with is bigger than the space power. Quain, another great group hug thing. Lauren of the Third Path, little bit of enchantment or artifact removal, and some more draw stuff. Mana Gorger Hydra. If this makes a turn to the table, your opponents either didn't play anything or somebody played a lot of things hoping you kill the other players. That's pretty much how Mana Gorger Hydra works. Or it makes it to 1 or 2 turns and then it doesn't make it to your turn. Mangara the Diplomat, Reflector Mage, because we're playing Bant. We have the colors, might as well play Reflector Mage. Sun Titan, because a lot of our pieces are 3 or lower CMC, so gotta get them. Triska Decaphile, if we have exactly 13 cards in our hand during our upkeep, we win the game. 20-toed toad. If we have 20 cards in our hand or 20 +1/+1 counters on 20-toed toad when it attacks, we win the game. What else? Because we need lands. The enchantments in the deck. This one I know I'm probably going to get a lot of shit for in the comment section. Arcane Laboratory. Now, I get it. Each player can't play more than one spell each turn. Our commander incentivizes us to play 2. I get it. But it's group hug stacks. Sometimes you got to make some sacrifices. Slow the game down a little bit. Blind Obedience. Great way to drain some opponent's life. Court of Grace introduces the Monarch mechanic and gives us some blockers. Because if we are not the Monarch on our upkeep, we get to make a 1/1 flyer. And if we are the Monarch, we make a 4/4 flyer. Gives us some blockers. Deafening Silence. Players can't cast more than 1 non-creature spell per turn. We got 17 creatures. We'll be alright. We could probably play a non-creature spell and a creature. And we do have some instants. Dictated Karametra. This is really good with the Damping Spear because we are going to double everybody's lands and then turn them into a colorless mana. Just turn their decks off. Eldamri's Vineyard. Give them 2 free green mana during their first main phase. Exploration to play extra lands. Ghostly Prison. Kind of a Pelifort piece. Just so they can't attack us unless they pay 2 per creature. Karmic Justice. If an opponent or if a spell or an ability an opponent controls destroys a non-creature permanent we control, we destroy a permanent they control. So a lot of our important pieces are non-creature spells or non-creature permanents. So this card is great in this deck because we're just getting even with people then when they start blowing up our pieces. Land tax because we need to hit our land drops. Mirror Maid, Propaganda, Pillow Fort stuff. Rest in Peace, like I said before, there's a lot of graveyard decks in my play group, so definitely a good card here. Rites of Flourishing, lets everybody play extra lands and draw an extra card. Smothering Tithe, this is great. This card is amazing in this deck. We're giving our opponents the opportunity to draw 3, 4, 6, 8, 9 cards a turn. If we don't have Narset on the board, they aren't going to pay for all of those. We're going to get a lot of treasures, and with those treasures, even if we turn our mana off with Dictated Karametra and Damping Spear, we are playing our cards. Spear of Safety, more Pillow Fort stuff to keep them from attacking us. Instants in the deck, we got Aetherize, because obviously we don't want to die. So if we don't have our Pillow Fort stuff, another great way to get some of their stuff out of the way. Brainstorm, to get to our key stuff. Commandeer, we're playing Pillow Fort. I can't beat you with my stuff, I'm going to use your stuff. Counterspell, Didn't Say Please, Domineering Will, Factor Fiction, Path to Exile, Roiling Regrowth, and Settle the Wreckage. Because we need to survive. Settle the Wreckage is great. Planeswalkers in the deck, Narset Part of Veils, because this with all the draw stuff is great, because then we're the only ones drawing and they're not. Tameo Field Researcher, another great one in this deck. Yeah, because we can tap down some non-land permanents, and if we get to the -7, we get an emblem. Whenever we cast a spell, we can cast spells from our hand without paying their mana cost. So another great way to play some stuff. Sorceries, we got Aminatu's Augury, probably one of my favorite sorceries in the game, arguably. Brilliant Restoration to get our enchantments and artifacts back from the graveyard, because let's be real here. Playing group hug stacks, we're going to be the target at some point, so we're going to need to get stuff back. Cultivate because we need lands, Explore because we need lands, Farseek and Kodama's Reach, obviously land ramp. Preordain, Route, Serum Visions, Slaughter the Strong, and Solve the Equation. I know what you're thinking, why Slaughter the Strong? Probably for the fun of it. I mean, I could just run another board wipe. There's 3 or 4 that come to mind. But this one's always fun. It definitely interesting to see the choices that people make when you play something like this. And sometimes there'll be a point where you're the only one with creatures with 4 or less power, depending on your play group, obviously. And then Solve the Equation to search out whatever instant or sorcery we might need at that moment. But guys, that is my Bumbleflower deck. Let me know down below what you guys think. And let me know if you guys like group hug stack decks, because apparently I'm one of the few. I mean, I might be one of the few that enjoy this type of deck. And like always, guys, all the socials are down below. Check them out. Check out the other deck lists on the channel. There's a whole playlist of all the deck lists I've done. And there's also a playlist of updated decks I've done. Now, I didn't do an updated video for every deck, obviously, because I only update the ones that I actually enjoy playing. So there's a couple in there. Go check them out. I will see you guys in the next deck tech. And yeah, have a good one.